Well, that was quite an Oscars special we had. 2 parts. Lots of time. So I think we all agree we need to relax a little bit. Nice. We've done a lot of, news-based episodes and reviews, and I think it's time that we have a little bit of fun. So for today's episode, we are going to bring a game onto the show, a special segment. We did it once on our old podcast, Cinema Talk, but we are bringing it back, and it's going to be great. This is SML Studios. What is this incredible game, you might ask? Well, we are going to explain it right after I say my name is Larry.
My name is Sean.
And my name is Max.
And without any further ado, let's get started. Okay, so before we jump right into SML Studios, I just want to be sure to check up, give you guys a little reminder about some of the things that have been posted, some podcast episodes. And really, that is our 2-part Oscars special. It's a lot of great discussion about, not only before the Oscars, like predictions, but also afterwards, what our thoughts were then. There's a lot of great stuff, so be sure to check out those episodes. We would highly appreciate it if you did so. So that first part actually has some community stuff as well. Yes. So Sean, as our community man, what do you got?
I'm the community manager of Rural Thirds, I just realized, technically speaking.
Pretty much.
That's going on the resume. I manage the community of 2. To be fair, we actually have two people commenting. So, first one is from Whitley, shocker, and he says, "Man, hindsight must be a female dog for you guys, huh? I don't know why you use that vernacular. You don't need..." Okay, he didn't use that vernacular. Anyway, yes, Whitley, it is. But that's kind of the point. That's why we wanted to record some in the first place. It was right in the before the Oscars happened, because it's fun to what we thought going in, and with no bias. It's not like looking back you get to say, oh, I totally thought that was going to win, because you didn't. So it was best to record before. So yes, hindsight, it was annoying in a lot of cases. Yeah, guess that anything to add?
I think that it was actually it's pretty interesting for me, because I got some things right and some things way wrong.
I just want to point out, I did do better than Larry.
Yeah, he did. But I knew you would. I mean, this was the first year I was doing a ballot. So,
yeah. And Max, I don't think you kept tally. So,
nope. But looking back on it, I'm just glad. I'm just really, really glad that the Theory of Everything only won the only award that really needed to be said. Because otherwise, I would have been retroactively upset.
We should have a talk about that, not on the podcast, but I'm curious why you're upset about Theory of Everything. Anyway, we also have something from Seth Campbell. He's talked with us before. I don't think
Hey, I have a question. Seth, buddy. How do you say your name? Eunasis? Okay, cool. Larry's answered it for me, so you don't have to answer it.
Anyway, that's not our community question. How to pronounce that name. He says, "Why did you stop putting full ones on YouTube? I don't have iTunes because it doesn't run right on my computer."
Yeah, guys.
Okay, yeah. I'll take responsibility for that one. Basically, the reasoning was YouTube people don't want an hour-long video. They want something quick. And so the idea was to just get some highlights, post that on YouTube so people can check it out really quick, like 4 or 5 minutes, and then hopefully get them hooked. And then they go to the full podcast on iTunes because we thought everyone could. But we can rethink that. We'll talk about it. And I'm sorry you missed out on this episode. We'll figure something out. And then, wait, hold on. Oh my goodness.
What?
Oh, wow.
What?
Ooh, this dropped. I'm so glad we're recording while this news is coming out. Whitley thought that the Princess Kaguya movie should have won the Oscar. Everyone, CNN is blowing up. Fox News is down. Guys,
you take too much pride. This is not between me and you, Sean. This is now between you and Whitley in terms of stereotyping yourselves.
Seriously.
Well, if anyone was wondering, what I'm referring to is Whitley always liking the. It is Studio Ghibli, right? I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
He says, honestly, my only prediction was for the Tale of Princess Kaguya. I mispronounced it originally.
Kaguya?
Kaguya.
How do you pronounce? Community question. How do you pronounce Kaguya?
That's the question. For Best Animated Feature, out of the 3 nominees, it was hands down my favorite. Again, that's the big shocker.
I believe there were 5, weren't there?
Yeah, there were 5.
Out of the 3 he watched, is what he said.
Okay.
I didn't quote it directly. Anyway, I think that's enough for the community segment. That's taking up enough time. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to you, Larry.
Nope. Thanks, Sean, reporting live. So
I feel like the weather guy. It's like, over to you, Sean.
Honestly.
Thanks, Larry. Well, today we have a Studio Ghibli fan front moving in towards the north, and a confused audience member that can't use iTunes coming in from the south. Now, when they clash, Larry, we're looking at some low pressure and high pressure, some yelling from the fandom, and some understanding from the other fans. So it should all balance out, but just use some umbrellas and common sense, and you'll be fine. Back to you, Larry.
That bit worked way too well.
Thank you.
That was way too I'm sorry. Anyway, so...
And not scripted. I just want to take credit for that.
That's a good point. But anyway, it's time to get to the real meat of this conversation. This is SML Studios. Now, for those of you who don't get it, SML, that stands for Sean, Max, Larry.
Get it? It sounds like SNL, like the show.
Right. That's what
fun fact. When we were dreaming big about if we ever took off, if Rule 30 ever took off, there was an idea to do a live action sketch comedy show with just 3 of us, and we would call it SML. I don't know how that would work. I don't think we ever.
I never talked to you guys about this. I actually had a great idea. The whole point of the series would be that we're split apart.
Yeah.
So that would be like the gimmick. It's a sitcom where the characters are hundreds of miles away. Boom.
Yeah.
That would be it. And that was like...
And make no mistake, we really are. We're not this is not just okay, we live in one state and then this guy lives 2 states away. We are on different ends of the country.
Yeah. Anyway, we should get to the
so,
topic.
Yeah, we should really get to the game.
Larry, stop interrupting us.
So SML so we like that name, but we sort of decided to, Sean one day introduced this game to us because there was just this 1 week where we didn't really have much going on as far as news was concerned. So we decided to take a break to sort of relax, have some fun, and play this game. So it didn't really have a title, so we just put SML Studios on it, and that's what we're going to call it for whenever we decide to do it on the podcast. And we hope to do it quite a few times. It's a really fun game. Yeah, it's a very fun game, and you'll see why right now. Essentially, to sum it up in one sense, it would be make your own movie, essentially. We
Never
are
done that
going
before.
It's all imaginary. Obviously, it's not real, but essentially what we're going to do is we are going to name 6 actors. And it's all random. We choose 2 each. We're going to go 1 for me, 1 for Max, 1 for Sean, and 1 more round of that. And then we're going to probably choose a writer and a director.
Though that sometimes comes later.
Right. It depends really on the theme, which we'll get to in just a sec. And so what happens is we are going to form some sort of plot, some sort of movie based around our choices, our cast choices, and our director and writer choices. And the first time we did it, we just sort of came up with something, and it was pretty good for a first time. But
matriarch.
Yes, matriarch. We're still working on that screenplay. But I suggested that we try to theme it.
Yes.
Especially considering we just came out of a 2-part Oscar special. We are going to do SML Studios Oscar Bait Edition. We are going to try to make a film that wins all the Oscars.
All of them.
All the Oscars.
And I mean literally all. For some reason, they also give us the one for short doc, short animated. It's weird.
It's weird, man. I don't know.
And best song. We don't even have music in there.
Well, you have a score.
That's true.
I don't know. We'll throw in a song there, whatever. We'll include that. So essentially, we are going to start from the bare bones, and we're just going to keep coming up with something. Just with the Oscar season sort of winding down, we want to get the last little drop we can out of the Oscars hype. So we're going to get started immediately, and we are going to choose our 6 actors/actresses for the role. Now, this can be anybody.
It can be anyone, but let's keep in mind the theme.
Right, we're keeping in mind the Oscar theme. Now, of course,
so we definitely
can
cannot pick Meryl Streep. Is that right?
No, we have to pick Meryl Streep.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was about to get to, Max. I was going to go first. I was going to pick Meryl Streep.
All right, there you go. Meryl Streep's our first.
In my defense, Larry, if you didn't say it, one of us would. Meryl Streep is a running gag of the Oscars.
She'll be in our Oscar movie too.
She's probably dating the Academy, honestly.
it should be noted that Meryl Streep, she's nominated a bunch, but her movies aren't often nominated. Have you noticed that?
Right.
The Iron Lady, Into the Woods.
Well, Into the Woods wasn't nominated as a movie, just her. So,
Yeah, and same with The Iron Lady, right? Isn't that right?
No, Iron Lady. Oh, wait. It wasn't up for Best Picture or really anything. Maybe like hair and makeup.
I don't know.
Anyway, so maybe
makeup.
we don't give her a major role because maybe it's a deal breaker. Who knows? We'll see.
But we had to include her because Meryl Streep and Oscars. They go together like peanut butter and jelly.
Again, they are probably dating.
Yeah, probably. Okay, so now we're going to go to Max. Give us someone.
What does the Academy like? White people. What does the Academy like? Let's see. I'm trying to think of like I'm trying more like going for story structure, but when it comes to like actors that the Academy likes, well, do I want to go with the winner of this year? Do I?
Yeah.
But I really want to include her because she's amazing and like she's like freaking best.
Do it.
All right, Julie Moore. Gotta have
Boom.
Julie Moore in there.
All right.
Gotta have one of the finest actors on the planet.
I already have ideas flying through my head. All right, Sean, go.
Well, I mean, I'm deciding between, like, I don't know, a more traditional pick, someone who's, like, always nominated, or kind of a wild card that would just, like, fit naturally. Like, Eddie Redmayne was a wild card, but of course he won, you know? I'm trying to think of an actor like that, but I haven't quite. Hopefully I can by the time you come back around to me. But for now, I'll go with my safe pick. He always is nominated and almost always wins. Let's go Daniel Day-Lewis.
Daniel,
I wonder what he's up to now. Like,
I don't know.
You know, let me check. I'm on Facebook right now. I mean,
are you going to add him as a friend?
I would.
Yeah,
Status.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Working on film.
He's
Can't
not
tell you guys
signed on
about
to
it.
anything.
#secret.
Secret. He's not actually
okay.
signed up for anything. Huh.
Oh.
At least according to IMDb.
Someone better jump on that because he's amazing. All right, so now it's back to me.
Yep.
I don't know. There's so many different things you could choose from, and like, see, like you can't choose somebody who's gonna spoil it for you, like an actor who always is nominated but never chosen. Besides for Meryl Streep, because that's just a joke. But like in this, okay, I'm not gonna do it. Let's say I brought up like,
don't say it. Don't you dare.
I'm just hypothetical. Let's say I brought up Leo Cap, right? I'm not gonna. But if I did,
but you just did.
No, but I'm not. But I'm not gonna like use him because we already used him in the last one, and that's boring. So I'm gonna go with somebody who's sort of a wild card. I don't know if he's won any awards, but I've seen him in a few projects recently, and I actually really like him, and I like his style and just his delivery. Tom Wilkinson. You guys know who that is?
Oh yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he's really good. I remember him very fondly in Best Exotic Marigold Hotel.
And I believe
Oh,
a few days last week saw Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. So that was him.
Yeah, he's great in that. And he's also in Grand Budapest very shortly, but he's great in that also. So I want to throw him in. I think he'd be great in whatever role, really. Max, next.
You know what? I think I'm going to do it. You brought it up, Sean, and I'm going to go ahead and do it. My wild card, the most, like, an actor who is so, like, grounded and funny that when he's serious, it's amazing. I'm going to go with Jim Carrey. I'm going to go with it.
Nice.
Because you saw Eternal Sunshine. When he does serious, he does serious. It's like, yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
Jim
I'm
Carrey.
happy about that. He's one of my favorite actors. All right, Sean, last pick.
Well, I'm going to go with... Actually, I can't remember if we had her before. Can we cut for a second? Did we do Lupita Nyong'o?
Oh, shit. Did we? I feel like we...
Yeah, me too.
Man.
But also, I know I included her in another game I played, but I don't know if it was the one on the podcast.
I don't think it was.
Because
we included Denzel. I know we included Denzel Washington.
Yeah, but Matriarch. I don't think Matriarch had Lupita Nyong'o.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
All right, just go for that then.
Oh, well, I'll put it in. Okay. Well, I'm not going to go for a wild card as much as like an up and comer, and she's been nominated before. She's definitely seen some Oscar. Wait, did she win?
Yes,
no idea.
she did.
Yeah, she won Best Supporting for 12 years.
Well, guys that didn't know my pick, that we totally didn't cut a discussion about beforehand, I'm choosing Lupita Nyong'o. Act surprised.
Yay! Oh, wow. Oh, my God, Sean.
Didn't know. We
What
were talking
a
if we
pick.
had picked her for the last movie, so if we did cast her for Matriarch last episode, that's fine, because she's good. So she can be in both our movies. Boom. There you go.
Boom. There we go.
Okay,
All right,
so there's our cast.
there's our cast. Let's remind ourselves. You got Meryl Streep that I did, and then Max, you chose.
Julian Moore.
And then Sean, you chose.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
And then I chose Tom Wilkinson, and then Max, you chose.
Jim Carrey.
And then Sean chose.
Lupita Nyong'o. This is a fun game. I know all the answers.
Oh, man,
I just want to point out how funny it is that, like, last time when we just played this game on Cinema Talk, which you go check it out on youtube.com/RealThirds, we kind of went for, like, we have to go for, like, diversity. And then we went for Oscar bait. We're like, what would the Academy want? And we all just kind of, like, with the exception of Lupita Nyong'o, thank God, we kind of all went for, like, white people, including myself,
Well,
so I'm not...
That's not a fault of us. We're going for the Oscar favorites, okay? That's not our fault.
Yeah, whether or not that might glorify, you know, them or not, we have to go for it.
The goal of this episode is to win Best Picture, and this is how you do it, sadly. So,
all right. So we got those 6 names. Now let's see if we can. Do you want to go for what we're doing first, or should we get a writer and director down?
Personally, well, okay, we can go 2 ways because I can see it going both. I can see 2 options.
Right.
One is we come up with the movie and then find just that perfect director and writer. Or the alternative is we force a director and writer, and so that kind of, you know, molds the movie because we have to kind of play to their strengths. Like if we why am I totally blanking his name? Who did Grand Budapest?
Wes Anderson.
Yeah, if we said Wes Anderson, it would have to be overly quirky comedy thing, right? You know,
we have actors who know how to do that.
Oh, I'm sure.
Stock.
I don't see Daniel Day-Lewis being quirky.
That's true.
He doesn't strike me as quirky.
Well, what do we want to do? Do we want to get them first, or should we wait?
Personally, I kind of want to wait.
What about you, Max?
Yeah, let's wait.
Okay,
all right,
cool.
We're gonna wait. So we're gonna let's form a movie. Now, we need, before we even talk about a plot, we should try to narrow down some Oscar baity methods, things that Oscar movies, you know, there's a trend that there are these small little details that Oscar movies tend to have that they get nominated. For example, huge makeup jobs. Steve Carell for Foxcatcher. That's one. So who are we gonna give the makeup job to?
Well, actually,
I
would start more. I don't know. I think that's when we get to casting. I think first we need to define genre.
Yeah, and I already know what exactly it needs to be. If you want to win
drama.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Historical drama.
Well, it's a historical drama.
Now, is it a biopic,
Absolutely,
or is it just
it's a biopic?
It's a biopic. All right.
I find it funny how we're like going like the Academy wants this when the winner of Best Picture was like not that.
Oh,
at all.
We're just going the cliche.
Yeah. Okay.
Because,
yeah.
like,
We're going.
If you actually look,
we're
at
going
Best
for the
Picture
theory of
winners,
everything. Sorry.
Well, no, because that wasn't like really historical drama. If it was just, you know,
it was a biopic. Though.
It's a biopic, absolutely. That's why, because they like biopics. Also, there's usually some form of a disability involved. Like, you know, Julianne Moore's Still Alice. They like that.
Alzheimer's.
Big disability.
I didn't see that in the Theory of Everything. Where was that in the Theory of Everything? I don't remember that. I just cannot remember.
Good joke. It was actually okay. So, do we want that in? Do we want to throw in some form? Okay, because you gotta overcome it. Okay,
I'm thinking.
Oh my god!
Like,
I get it. Mark Zuckerberg and the social networks, his disability was like he was a jerk.
Yeah,
I just realized that. I was like,
what a disability.
Social network doesn't have a guy with a social. Oh, it's a social disability. Yeah,
social disability. So now the question is: do we want to give it to the main character? Do we want to find somebody who was disabled in their lives, or are we going to give it to a side character?
Well, personally, I think I don't want to do a lot of research and go for historical accuracy. So I say we go totally fictional here, because
fictional biopic.
Well, I guess that would kind of hurt our chances, huh?
Exactly.
But does that mean we have to research?
I don't think research would do us any harm.
For the sake of this podcast, we get to make it up, but let's pretend that it's a real biopic. Because that should be a check mark on our Oscar bait list. That's checked. So everyone play along. We're going to create a fictional duchess or something, and we're going to pretend that they're real, and the Academy will applaud us for our accuracy.
Okay, so you say duchess, but when is this film going to take place? Are we talking like Or we could try like some sort of big American moment. We can place it during World War II, Vietnam War, Civil War.
Why don't we put it during like a time unexplored, like something? Yeah, I mean, they kind of like, for example, Stephen Hawking, with the exception of that one TV movie starring Benedict Cumberbatch, he really hasn't been like explored all that much. The same goes for Selma to an extent. And
Martin Luther King has never really had a big movie about him until then.
And the thing was, it really wasn't about him so much as it was about the event that it's based on. But details aside, why don't we go for something like that? The Academy seems to be recently liking stories that haven't been told yet. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, what about like Revolutionary War? That era hasn't been touched much lately.
That could work. We could go for a war that's just not like explored that much, like the Korean War or the War of 1812.
I would worry about 1812. I'm okay with
a biopic about Francis Scott Key. Bam.
Who?
Francis Scott Key. That's his name, right?
You're going to have to refresh us on that.
Francis Scott Key, guys. He's national anthem. Guys.
Riveting.
Guys. I mean, I was just thinking, like, he got captured during the War of 1812, and, you know, there's a hostage crisis. Okay, fine, whatever.
I still say we make them up. I still say we don't want to be bound by reality. Okay. In the podcast. Again, outside of it, our movie we pretend is historically accurate, at least in its subject. So I personally wouldn't mind like Revolutionary War. I mean, Lincoln was Civil War, but was it really that much like about the Civil War or just about Lincoln? So we could also do Civil War.
Or we could do like something a little bit more like, I don't know, war, as much as I just like reference like the wars, that is also a very like explored territory. What if we did something like, even like something perhaps gritty, like something like that isn't like, what is it? I'm just thinking of like historical events that. What?
Okay,
Vietnam?
I have the pitch. Are you ready?
Here we go. Here we go.
I think this is going to blow your mind.
Oh God!
It's Titanic at the Alamo.
There's like a boat crash into the...
Sean.
No, but the audience knows that the battle's coming, but they don't. It's perfect. It's perfect. They love Titanic.
So you want to do the Alamo?
That would be awesome.
Quick refresher, what is the Alamo exactly? I'm not familiar.
We're just gonna let this silence drone.
I feel like we need to.
You want to just keep it up a little bit more?
Yeah, Max. What?
I don't know.
Don't you remember the Alamo?
I remember the Alamo, but I don't know like the actual conflict of the Alamo. I don't know what.
It doesn't matter. The point is that there's this conflict, and we as the audience are aware of its inevitable tragedy, but we follow some star-crossed lovers caught in the midst.
Oh God, no!
That's what I meant by Titanic and the Alamo. Come on, guys.
Yeah, but I thought you were just talking about huge disaster. But we all know it already happened. I didn't think you were talking about like the star-crossed lovers.
But isn't that something that the Academy would go for? It's a biopic, but
yes, so
it can be a couple biopic. Like, wait for it, Theory of Everything. Boom.
Oh, hey, look at that. Well, okay. I'm not saying I don't. I mean, the pitch could work.
I'm not totally on board, by the way. This is an idea.
I think that would be a good idea, though. A sort of a movie about a huge thing, like sort of like what Pearl Harbor was, except not bad. And I don't know if we should go with the love angle, though. I think it should be much more centered on an actual person.
What if it was? All right, this is kind of a stretch, and this doesn't have to do so much with a war. But the Academy likes stories, biopics, and unexplored territory. What if we did something like during like the .com boom, or something more about technology? The Silicon Valley.
Oh my God, the Y2K bug. You guys know about the Y2K bug?
Barely. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I think that was when I was learning about that. I thought that was actually hilarious about how like everyone thought that once we hit 2000, like things were just going to go haywire.
Yeah, the world couldn't handle it.
The world was over.
Yeah,
and then it was this huge thing. Yeah. I don't know. I always thought that would be
biopic enough. That's only 15 years ago.
Well, we could. Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the origins of the internet
okay,
are
let me put
really.
It this way. I didn't mean biopic. That's not a historical drama.
Right. Exactly.
Historical drama's got to be like like at the latest, I would go 70s.
Yeah,
absolute latest.
But
even then, like Forrest Gump, is that historical drama? I mean, I guess it's more comedy.
It has some historical drama elements to it. It's
say
more
we
of
go
just a
real
drama in
history.
history.
What if we do like pioneers? What if we do like more of a western about some sheriff in a town? Probably Tom Wilkinson, honestly.
What about the Gold Rush?
Ooh, okay.
I know about that.
Let's do the Gold Rush.
All right, well, it's a western Gold Rush.
Yeah,
this
kind
should
of a
be
western.
good.
I can definitely see Daniel Day-Lewis as a lead.
Well, okay, after There Will Be Blood, he's pretty good at making sure that materials get to him.
Yes,
you know
but
I mean?
I would picture him more as the everyman worker as opposed to the upper
Evil
man.
guy. Yeah, sort of like
perhaps his age is making him, in his final few years of being able to do the work, is trying desperately to find his own gold to support his family. Because he is older. He's on the older side. So
who's his wife?
Does he need one? Perhaps she died.
Oh,
in his quest to get to California, she dies.
Okay, now how old is Daniel Day-Lewis?
Do we really need the dead wife trope? I mean,
I don't know. Do we cast anyone as
this is why I'm asking.
What if it wasn't that she died? What if he became so obsessed with gold that she left him?
Ooh, I like that more.
And it was Meryl Streep. Meryl Streep is the wife.
Hold on.
Yeah. I'm just asking, how big is the age difference between Julianne Moore and Daniel Day-Lewis and also Meryl Streep?
Well, Meryl Streep is 65.
And Daniel Day-Lewis?
Hold on.
As old as a tree.
57.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, that's a bit of a...
but not on screen. It's hard to kind of...
Right. What about Julianne Moore?
Let me tell you, Miles Teller played a 19-year-old in Whiplash, okay? The age difference does not matter.
Okay, well, what about Julianne Moore?
Julianne Moore is 54.
All right.
So honestly, I could go for that. Okay, so we've got our lead is Daniel Day-Lewis. So boom, there we go.
Okay, there we go. He's lead.
That's not that surprising. He's Daniel Day-Lewis. He
can totally hold himself. Yeah, honest.
What if he's okay? I have an idea. What if instead of having him just coming and getting obsessed, what if he returns to California? What if he was one of the 49ers and he lost his wife, he lost all his money, he went back, he tried to get himself back together, maybe his wife stayed in California, and now he's back and he's trying to he's trying at it again. And it's just about him trying to figure out the pointlessness of it all because it's just him doing the same thing again.
I'm wondering, how long did the Gold Rush last? How many
years? What are the years of the official gold? Let me look that up.
Yeah, we should do some research.
Yes, because it is some historical accuracy.
And again, I remember learning.
We're pretending that this is a real character.
Yeah, and I remember learning about the Gold Rush.
But I don't remember the years. So I'm
right, but I do remember that
I can tell you right now that it started in 1849. I can tell you right now because I learned California history in my 4th grade class.
Oh snap! What is that date?
What?
Mm-hmm.
What's the date you said? What was the year?
1849. Because the first people who went to there were called the 49ers, and that's why...
Wikipedia says January 24th, 1848.
Yeah, a little earlier.
Huh.
Anyway,
that's why we call them the 49ers, I'm just saying.
We're going 1848 to 1855 is our window.
That's a good window. That's 7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we have... Okay, so that's a good holder. We are doing Gold Rush. We got Daniel Day-Lewis as the lead. I assume he's a miner. We're going to go with the mining angle. I guess we're going to go with Meryl Streep as the wife.
We can go for Julianne Moore as the wife. Okay,
well then how is Meryl Streep going to play into the story?
Oh, that's easy.
She'll play as a different character. Come on, this is...
Well, I mean, duh. But I mean, that also brings up an interesting idea. We have 3 other actors, you know, to kind of edit it. I know. Okay, Tom Wilkinson, barkeep.
Excellent.
Sure.
A barkeep. I think he would be great as, the guy hey, what's up, Vinny? The guy's kind of rubbing down the barkeep. Rubbing the bar down, with the walk off and getting everyone's beer and being that lovable guy. I think Tom Wilkinson could totally work that role. Trying to think about Jim Carrey.
Yeah,
rival sheriff? Rival sheriff?
Honestly.
No, not rival. No. What if it was somebody who a newcomer, and I'm still going off this angle of that he came back to Like this is like 1853, and he left in 1850, like 49 or something, or 1850, and like he came back to try and. Years. Yeah. So right. What if like this is Jim Carrey, like this wide-eyed, like, I mean, he's not that young, he's pretty old. So like either he's in control of the area that Daniel Day-Lewis comes back to, or he's like, he's kind of like a newcomer. He's kind of like learning the basics.
Oh wait, okay, idea. All right, so Daniel Day-Lewis, one of the 49ers, legendary name. Like, people learned of his name. He was the guy to get the gold. Like he was like the man. He's like, hey, I found it. Right? He leaves, takes that gold, leaves, does something with his life, whatever. And then Jim Carrey was like one of the people who sort of joined in on the boom after he already found it. He rises up the ranks, and he becomes like one of the top miners. And then Daniel Day-Lewis comes back. I'm not saying he's a rival.
I actually have an idea. Alternative idea.
Okay.
Why does Daniel Day-Lewis lose all the gold back east?
Who says he does, though?
Because why would he come back if he had all his gold in his wealth?
Why, Sean? Why?
Well, because what if he got caught up in something illegal and lost all his money and fled back to California?
And like it's under the guise that he's like he's back to do more digging, but in reality he's kind of in hiding.
And perhaps he's being followed and tracked down by a bounty hunter, Jim Carrey.
I'm not feeling the whole bounty hunter.
I want Jim Carrey to be like a serious, like fleshed out character. That seems more like.
I don't know if he has to be. I don't know if he has to be a serious fleshed out character, but I'd like him to have some sort of grounding in reality. I don't want him to be playing that over the top.
Right. Bounty hunters don't exist. I forgot.
Oh, that was also true.
What?
Okay. Well, no, I meant like they didn't exist back then. At least I didn't think they do.
Yeah, they did.
Did they?
Django Unchained, bro.
Well, okay. Well,
bounty hunters have always been a thing.
That takes place during Civil War. Didn't it?
And the Gold Rush is
8 years before or something, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It is pretty like.
This is really close to the Civil War, which later. Bounty hunting is not that bad of an option. And they totally existed. What do you think? As long if there were people to hate people and there was money, there were bounty hunters. And criminals. I just say criminals because most bounty hunting in that time.
That's fun. Hey, here's an interesting idea. Just look this up. James Wilson Marshall. This is the guy who was reported to be the man who discovered the gold. Like the gold for he was the one who
somebody else though.
Okay. And it says a controversy. Okay, some people attribute the actual discovery to a different guy. Yeah. John Wimmer is his name. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Could we somehow integrate that?
Oh, yeah. What if the first guy's Daniel Day-Lewis and the next is Jim Carrey? The actual founder is Jim Carrey.
Yeah. It says, and it's... I'm trying to... apparently, there are other eyewitnesses, too. His name was John Wimmer. He was the son of Peter Wimmer. Marshall. He was Marshall's assistant.
Brilliant.
Oh, my God.
Yes, no, it would be... Yeah, I guess... Or... Yes. Would Jim Carrey be the character who's taking it, or...
Oh, and this is even better. And not only John Wimmer, Elizabeth Jane, quote, Jenny Wimmer. The camp cook, I assume his wife?
In our movie, it can be.
Okay, I think we struck gold. All right. Here's what I'm thinking, right? Daniel Day-Lewis, Marshall, Jim Carrey, and Julianne Moore? You think? I think Jim Carrey and Julianne Moore would make sense as this sort of couple. They feel that they deserve credit for the whole thing, but Daniel Day-Lewis takes all of it. All right, he leaves. They stay to sort of continue on with their quest because I don't know, maybe they didn't get enough of the thing, or they liked the gold rush. They wanted to get as much as possible, and then maybe Daniel Day-Lewis comes back, and so now. This Wimmer guy wants revenge, or he wants to settle the score, in a sense. And I know we didn't want Jim Carrey to be the rival, but I think this story is really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, also, let's keep Daniel Day-Lewis the main character. It's a very rare antagonist biopic. You don't want to root for this guy, yet you get into the character, you know?
Yeah, I like it. I think we should go for this whole story. I'm going to do some research on it right now as we're talking about the guy, because I think this is an actual person. and we don't have to like make up anymore. Like, oh yeah, this dude was a guy. You know, like we could actually really get up to something here. I still want to keep Tom Wilkinson as barkeep though. I don't want to get.
What about Lupita Nyong'o?
Yeah, we need to talk about Lupita Nyong'o. We don't have Meryl Streep in it yet.
Well, I think let me look up some information on the guy, on the actual dude. Do you want me to just read off some information as I look at it?
I guess. How interesting would that be for listeners?
I don't know. Well, I mean, it's going to form our movie.
Okay.
So, let's see. He headed west in 1834. He left New Jersey. He was from New Jersey. That could easily be an angle. Hometown, early scenes. In fact, we could really follow this guy. We could have like flashbacks in the beginning. Oh my God, we can pull an imitation game. Oh man. Okay, so those of you who don't know, in the imitation game, the movie starts off with the quote unquote present, with the present as in the present time at which Alan Turing is being arrested for his homosexuality, and they're learning about the real what he really did during the war, the whole Enigma thing, and so it goes to a flashback of him in school, and then it goes to him actually learning about Enigma, and it keeps flipping between those two flashbacks, sort of. I think we could do something like that. We could sort of have Daniel Day-Lewis maybe in an issue. Maybe he was arrested for something. And then maybe, how did this all start, this whole gold thing? It's like, well, started in 1834. And then we can show him moving out west. We don't even have to show the childhood, actually. That would sort of be a waste.
Yeah.
Let's see. He farmed along the Missouri River, contracted malaria. He's the founder of Sutter's Fort. I think that was important. Let's hope it is. That gives us our setting.
This just shows that we're not caught up in our history.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a gold rush, guys. This was a while ago.
Most history was, Larry.
Yeah.
Okay,
guys, Coliseum. That was a few years back.
I think we should move forward.
We should.
So honestly, let's just take this basis and run with it. Like, I don't want to get too tied down to fact. Stupid facts.
All right.
Get
now,
it out of here.
Should we get it? Should we start getting a writer and director?
No, that's kind of our last step. I feel like we don't really have the.
I think it's something to give Lupita Nyong'o like a fan role
and Meryl Streep.
Oh yeah, she'll be in there somehow. I don't know. She'll be just the witch of the mountain. I don't know.
Do we want to drop Meryl Streep because it's?
We should make a cameo as like.
Okay, there we go. A cameo, a brief, like, fun little scene. So it'll be with Tom Wilkinson and Meryl Streep. More than just a cameo, kind of a bit part, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or something.
Okay, well, what's the story so far? Come on, let's move forward. I feel like this is dying down.
So he moved. Well, it eventually hits some point where we just sort of have to stop and think a little bit.
No.
But essentially, the story essentially as of now is Daniel Day-Lewis. I think they even give a script for like the moment he discovered the gold. There's a dialogue. Marshall actually recounts it. Like it says, he holds two pieces in his hand, and this is like, I found it. You know, so like. We want to show that scene where he discovers the gold.
Yes. So now, is this actually Daniel Day-Lewis that discovers it, or are we going to go with the angle that it was actually Jim Carrey's character?
However, and we can create a moral dilemma in that, like, Jim Carrey is like the true founder and truly gets all the credit, but like maybe he's like maybe that's the whole like conflict is that he's kind of like Jim Carrey's character. He's kind of a dick. He's like he's not nice. He's like maybe he. Like and like that's the whole thing. It's like he discovered it, but like he's not a good person. This guy kind of stole. But
I thought Daniel Day-Lewis was the one that claims to have found it but didn't, and then Jim Carrey was the one that actually did.
But Jim Carrey seems to be like the assistant role, right?
Well, right. Really confusing. Okay, Larry. Again, this is the danger with the history. Okay, what was the case? I'm confused. This is kind of falling apart, guys.
No. I like the angle though.
Then
I will keep it.
Tell me the
alive.
History. Who claimed and who actually did?
Okay. Well, I mean, maybe there might not be an official answer to that question. Okay, and that might be to our benefit. Right, of course we'll give one. But that might be to our benefit. It might be to our benefit.
How?
Okay, so here's how Marshall says it. Marshall recounts that he found 2 pieces. Right?
Now, who's Marshall?
Marshall is Daniel Day-Lewis's character. He's the one who gets the credit normally, usually. And he brings it up, he finds them, and then he gets all the credit for them. And later, it ended up being confirmed. They even performed tests on the middle, whatever. It was totally good. The other dude said that when he was a child, he found the piece of gold, and he brought it to Marshall, to his father and Marshall, who were there. So the thing about this is that the Wimmer character is actually much younger than the Marshall character.
That should have been mentioned before.
Ugh, that's true. Well, we are making an Oscar movie. We are allowed to bend the rules.
You know what? Yeah, let's just drop that. That's our basis, okay?
Yeah.
I say we go with this ambiguous, we don't know who discovered it. Here's what happened. Here's what we do. The 2 main characters, they get off the train in California, okay? And then they strike off for gold, and the next scene, they found it. And both are claiming to be the one. So we, the audience, don't even know. And so the movie explores their dynamic, them trying to convince others that it was them that discovered it.
Okay, now let's be clear. Now, again, we just want to say we are not advocating for going for historical inaccuracy in movies. That's not really... We are big advocates of keeping, some sort of an accuracy to the story.
Don't speak for all of us.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
you guys aren't? You guys don't think it's better to have historical accuracy?
Not if the
well,
story
if it's not in service... I mean, listen, Larry, life is not a narrative. We have to remember that.
Yeah,
and
that's why Rush is my favorite biopic, because somehow it all worked out thematically in real life. It's this miraculous chain of events that totally makes sense as a narrative, but it happened.
So we want to say don't lie. Like, we don't want to advocate lying about things happening in cinema. Just...
Right.
We just, if you want, just don't say... We advocate the removal of based on a true story, because most of the time, it's not really.
Well, technically, this is based on real events. I think we got to kind of push with this based on sort of tagline, because technically, we're talking about a real event.
They should be underlined in the posters, based on a true story.
Yes, but they're underlined and bolded and italicized. So, before we continue on with history, I do think we should try to get a role for Lupita Nyong'o down.
I know. I'm
trying to think.
We've entered a very murky time for African Americans.
Exactly. However, that could be an angle. We can roll with that. This is a time where slavery was still around.
Yes, indeed.
However, the West is not settled, you could say, right now. It's not fully settled.
Yeah, it's kind of just free reign. That's why they call it the Wild West.
And so, if theoretically Lupita Nyong'o could get there, she could be doing her own thing. That could just be her background. She escaped from the South. Because in the North, of course, this was... Now, slavery was abolished in the northern states at this point. At least most of them. Because we're getting really close to the Civil War, so...
Maybe that's what's happening in the background. Like, all the subtext is that there's war brewing. There's maybe we have Southerners and Northerners coming together in this place. I mean, I think that's probably what happened in real events, is that we had not the tension, but Northerners and Southerners were both heading this way, and I mean,
perhaps
tension was bound to happen.
Perhaps Jim Carrey's from the South, Dan Day-Lewis from the North, or vice versa. Perhaps there's some conflict between our two leads. Perhaps. Okay, this is a bit of a leap because it was so lawless, no one cares. But if we could somehow frame the conflict to be, I need to support my side of the war. And
that's
whoever.
True.
What if? Okay, can we change it? How about if Jim Carrey is labeled as the rival in this situation? Can we have him be from the North just to give an interesting dynamic instead of having the bad guys from the South every time? The South was composed of bad guys, but I mean we can play around with this and not have it be completely one dimension.
Either way, is that too much of a leap to say whoever found this gold? What if it's just a single, really really good gold area? It doesn't have to be just the entirety of the gold rush was founded. Let's scale it back. Okay, so let's just say that two people found this really good area for gold mining. Excuse me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had their conflict on who founded it, and whoever discovered it is the one that owns all this gold. And so they're going to throw the gold at whatever side of the war.
So drop Marshall.
So Lupita Nyong'o is clearly going to be helping the North main character, and who's supporting the Southern main character? Well, enter our new old Southern belle, Meryl Streep, with a comeback. Now a major character. Boom.
Okay.
Thoughts?
So do you want to drop Marshall?
Who's Marshall?
The character? Like,
oh, yeah. I'm kind of moving on.
Okay, yeah. I agree.
We don't need your facts.
Right. I agree. I mean, I think someone should make a movie about that. That would be pretty cool.
Yes.
But
anyone listening, go ahead. Write up the script.
I think that we can use that event maybe as more so an inspirational point, as well as like background, like world building, almost in a way. Like this event happened, and it's caught, and like people are kind of hearing about it and all that. So these guys are going to try to discover gold themselves. So they're traveling along, whatever. Is Lupita Nyong'o a slave?
Escaped. Now making
an escaped slave.
Exactly. So that's her background. And so she's now making her way in gold country, mining for gold, all that, just like everyone else was, just scrambling for gold.
Okay, so Jim Carrey is from the north, right? Oh, no, he's from the south.
Wait, which did we decide?
Yeah. Did we decide Jim Carrey was from the north?
I like the idea of there not being a clear villain. And the problem is that if we have there being no clear villain, people are just going to assume the South guy's a villain.
I mean, and the Academy loves ambiguity with its villains. I mean, look at Boyhood, Birdman, Theory of Everything.
Nobody was a bad guy in Boyhood except all the alcoholic guys, and literally everyone was a bad guy in Birdman. Those were all horrible people.
With the Theory of Everything, who was the bad guy in that? Nobody.
Time.
Nice. No, but so wait. So for Lupita Nyong'o, so we don't want to have them on either side?
Well, no, they should be. One has to. We just need to assign it right now. Personally, I see Jim Carrey more on the southern side. However, Daniel Day-Lewis was just Lincoln. So if we want to kind of throw it up a bit.
Yeah, I would love to see him. Okay, so is our main character Daniel Day-Lewis or is our main character Jim Carrey?
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Okay,
because this is
I'd say he's from the South. Let's do it. He's from the South.
Yep.
He doesn't have a beard.
And his maybe like older sister or aunt. How is Meryl Streep related? Because I don't know. I think Meryl Streep could pull off the Southern Belle.
Absolutely.
Like, okay, the cliche.
Right. I mean, we joke about it a lot, but Meryl Streep could pull off anything. That's why she gets yeah.
Maybe.
And I'll say this: what if let's make this very clear. With him being a Southerner, why don't we make him a character that you sympathize for just a little bit more than the Northerner, just to create an interesting dynamic? I'm not in support of the Confederation, obviously, but just for an interesting dynamic.
Okay. Idea. Okay. Meryl Streep was the owner, the person, or maybe somehow related to the owner, Lupita Nyong'o's owner. Whoever owned Lupita Nyong'o as a slave.
That would add some conflict, but maybe it's too coincidental. It was a big country. California was, a lot of area to cover.
I mean, we don't want to staple Streep. Do we really want to staple Streep as a main character?
No,
I don't really want to do that. When we barely mentioned Julianne Moore.
So how about
I don't know where Julianne Moore is anymore.
Jim Carrey's wife. I thought we kind of let's just stick with that angle.
Okay,
it works.
What does she do? Like that's not a character.
I mean, well, okay. Let's think about. So it's good. It'll be sort of like A Simple Plan. Okay, you guys know about the movie?
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh, it's a playoff of yes, I've heard of it.
Right, it's about these three guys who discover a boatload of cash.
Sam Raimi, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, it's about three guys who discover a boatload of cash, and the nice guy has a wife who starts. It's like Macbeth. It's like Lady Macbeth. Let's give Jim Carrey, since I guess he's from the north, he'll sort of be this sort of nice guy character who doesn't really like making too many impulsive decisions, doesn't really want to get on anyone's toes.
Yeah, and the audience can immediately think of him as sort of a more heroic because he's part of the North. And the North is much more progressive.
But let's make Julianne Moore a Lady Macbeth sort of role. Let's kind of have her.
She can do friggin' anything, so fine, that's great.
Oh my God, there's the conflict. It's even more interesting than A Simple Plan because it's not about hiding it or anything. They both want the attention. They want to be – it's sort of a twist on the Macbeth idea. They both want to be seen as the one who discovered it so they can get all the glory for it. So how about Jim Carrey is originally going to say, you know what, let him have his moment. He seems much more excited. But Julianne Moore's like, no. You fight for it because we want to have a child. Boom. Just thought of something to put on there, all right? So they want to have a child, so they want the glory, they want the money. They want all the riches to come to them since they discovered it.
So even though they're, anti-slavery or whatever, they're really greedy. They're
yes,
okay,
exactly.
See,
it makes the ambiguity even better.
That's
my God.
That's much better than just a black and white north-south.
Okay, I'm loving this. All right, so I still want to get another idea off. I still think, because we don't want to staple Meryl Streep as a main character, right?
Right. Just
okay.
Okay, medium. It's a
right,
medium role.
How about in a sort of flashback-ish? Well, no, when Lupita Nyong'o, she's a slave, right?
Well, that's the thing. I know where you're going. I don't really want to.
But, I mean, it would work perfectly, right? Lupita Nyong'o's character is the mysterious character. She's the slave that is with Jim Carrey and Julianne Moore, because they're anti-slavery, right? So what if that's a slave that they brought along with them as just a sort of companion? As a companion. They saved her.
Escaped north.
Yeah, yes, they saved her.
And was able to join up with them as they headed
no, I'm thinking even more direct.
Like, she's... Alright, I don't want to use this term. She's like a mammy in the making, you know what I'm saying? Like,
kinda. I was thinking more Jim Carrey and Julianne Moore saved Lupita Nyong'o from Meryl Streep.
I kind of more like the idea that she struck out on her own and is doing well, and then is caught in this conflict of all this gold potentially going to one side or the other of this brewing war. Personally, Lupita Nyong'o is turning into a much more important character than I thought, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we still gotta find a way for Meryl Streep to fit in.
Well, that is, she can still be here. She's just the Lupita Nyong'o to the other side. She's just a supporting character that comes to try to, like, she's some wealthy Southern landowner who's trying to convince this gold company to send the gold to their, part of the war that's brewing. Like, she's just trying to push it that way. Maybe she's related to Jim Carrey somehow. Like, relative, I mean.
Yeah.
And so it's just that she hears.
I still think that Lupita Nyong'o should play sort of the mysterious character.
Wait, actually? That might work. Hold on.
What?
Well, I'm just going to look at the ages, because Meryl Streep, back then, people were having kids really young. So
because they didn't have much to live. I mean, they didn't have long to live.
On average.
That's true.
So,
that is true.
Now, Meryl Streep is 65. So, I mean, and Jim Carrey is 53, so... I don't know.
Be a bit of a stretch.
Maybe the whole kids thing, maybe it's not about that. Maybe that's like the source of their like conflict is that Julianne Moore and Jim Carrey, like, maybe one of them did want to have a kid and then they just never did, and now it's kind of too late. So that's just the struggling tension that they have. You know?
Wait, what?
Wait, isn't Jim Carrey and Julianne Moore, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to establish
I don't know about this kid angle. This feels a bit much.
Maybe it's not a continuing thing, but like there's this one scene where like they just like where this tension that they have during conflicts in the movies, like one of them brings up the fact that they wanted to have a kid and the other one didn't.
Yeah, I say we should not focus on that point.
And then they can't anymore.
I think it should be a thing that adds drama to their relationship. That's all I brought up. I don't think there should be like a child like that should be introduced into the story or anything. But I'm still like, I don't know, like. I don't know, like, relating Meryl Streep to Jim Carrey, I think that might give her too much a role. Well, I think it'd be a lot easier if Meryl Streep was just integrated into the backstory.
She needs to... No, I don't want her in flashbacks, Larry. We're going to cut that idea right now. Yeah. It's just... It's overdone. It's overdone. Besides...
Well, we are making an Oscar movie,
yes, but that would be superfluous. Superfluous. We don't need any backstory for Lupita Nyong'o. You get it. And the fact that we throw in Meryl Streep in just flashbacks, that's underutilizing her. So, she's just a medium importance character that comes in to try to sway where the gold mine is going.
Reporter?
That's all she is. She's just
reporter?
Rich. What?
What if, like... Okay, so what if they discover this brand new place to go for the gold mine or whatever, and they start getting workers and stuff, and they're still having this conflict? What if Meryl Streep comes in to report the story or something? Were there reporters back during the gold rush?
How old do you think Meryl Streep is?
Doesn't matter. Why does it matter if she's older or younger? She's still a reporter.
Reporter going to California in the 40s? What? That doesn't fit at all. Why a reporter? What does that add to the?
I don't know. I'm just trying to add her as a character that goes into the conflict.
I have. I keep repeating it. She is simply on the side. She is a rich Southern landowner that hears of this conflict from Jim Carrey, most likely. Family friend. Not related, just a family friend. And she travels over, arrives like halfway through the movie even, to try to sway the tide of this small battle that will help turn the tide of the war to come. There's your tagline right there. The battle that could change the tide of the war to come. Anyway, work on that. We'll get our guys to work on that. That's all her role is. You're the one that didn't want her anything major. She just comes in and offers support. And again, we can't go into too much plot details on this podcast. You know, we can't get into like detail scene per scene. She'll have some important things to do here and there. But overall, that's her role.
All right. It was a little too undefined, but
well, White, what else do you want?
I don't know. She's just sort of here. I don't know. It seems like. I mean, why does she come in the middle? Why does she come in the middle?
That's because it takes a while to travel back then. So like, if the movie starts when this conflict starts, like getting the message there, having her come over here, it's just going to take like half the movie. It's going to take a month or so.
So she comes all the way to them, just to sway them.
I mean, no. This is a gold mine, Larry. This is a lot.
What? So she can get gold?
Okay, I'm sorry. I find this infinitely better than just having her in flashbacks.
It's not just about having her in flashbacks.
But what is she... Okay, let me say this. If she's in flashbacks, she has nothing to do with conflict, therefore unnecessary character. Let's just trim it then. Like, let's just not have her in it.
Right, because just because the character's in a flashback, that automatically means they're unnecessary.
Well, in this case, it does. Because she wouldn't do anything. And you're the one that wants Lupita Nyong'o to be a mysterious character anyway. Why would you show flashbacks? That's like because opposite of mysterious character.
No,
flashbacks are kind of unnecessary in general, unless you have a movie entirely revolved around them, and that's not what we're going for.
What I meant was she was the silent character until then we learn about her. There's that moment where it just sort of comes out.
Can we do a 2/3 majority to override Larry's flashbacks idea, Max?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Sean here. Oh God!
Oh, I know, that must have hurt.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Ha ha ha. Hardy har har. All right.
But seriously, Larry, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to go with these flashbacks. They're not necessary. If anything, we'll have them implied, for example, what if during Nightcrawler, right, and they're talking about and they're at that dinner and Lou mentions the night that he and the boss had together. What if that flashback to that? No, you don't need that. Just like you don't need this. So yeah.
I just think it gives Meryl Streep much more of a defined character than just that Southern belle that just sort of
obviously there's wanders. Are going to be she doesn't wander. Oh my God! See, now all you're doing is just trying to undersell it as much as humanly possible in order to make your point seem valid. That's all. You're doing.
I know you guys don't want my point. I'm just expressing that I think that I just think that she needs something about her that makes her some sort of trait. We've given traits to the other characters.
Like what?
Okay, so we know that Jim Carrey's the sort of the guy that doesn't want to get on anyone's toes, and so because of that, Daniel Day-Lewis is the one who's wanted the glory for so long. He's the guy, we can give him the trait that he is the guy who's always wanted to do something big, right? It's just implied, just so that way they can be a differ. We know Lupita Nyong'o is sort of the silent type, she's just sort of there, and Daniel Day-Lewis is like, who's that? And they're like, don't worry about her, whatever. And then Julianne Moore is the controlling, manipulative wife. What's Meryl Streep?
That's a little harsh, honestly, now that I hear
Well,
that out loud.
I'm just saying, it's a Lady Macbeth role. That's what we established.
Okay.
So, what's Meryl Streep?
What do you mean, what's Meryl Streep? She's a minor character. What's Tom Wilkinson? He's just a generic bartender.
He's the likable guy. He's the likable guy who's on the side.
She's the unlikable lady of the South. I don't know. What do you want from me? We're not actually making this movie. I'm just giving her a good supporting role that she can have fun with. She can easily have fun with this. Can you imagine? Okay, take the cliche Southern belle. That was awful. But think Leonardo DiCaprio's sister in Django Unchained. Right?
Okay, well, that is a much more
and then age her 30, 40 years. Meryl Streep would love that role.
So she's just the evil character.
No, the sister isn't evil.
Okay, what would you call Leo Cap not pretty much
No,
maniacal?
Okay, Larry, no, you don't get to do this. No, Leo Cap is the bad guy. She's just kind of she's just the other member of that family. They're not all like on equal levels of evil. All right. You don't get to go ahead and do that. No.
Oh man, I don't have the right to go ahead and do that.
Step back, buddy.
Seen Django Unchained?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you see how not confrontational and not like evil that character is? She's not. She's just kind of going with it because she knows her brother's crazy. But besides that, that can be a Meryl Streep character. Yeah.
Okay, we're jumping to Meryl Streep character. I think we're approaching the end point because I actually have an idea for the ending.
Okay.
So what we have right now is pretty much the two guys meet up, decide to team up. They meet up near the Gold Rush area, on the train. Let's do just boom, screw it. They meet up on the train, and they decide to partner up. One's from the north, one's from the south, but whatever. That doesn't really get between them. And then they go to California, and then we cut to I don't know, maybe a year later. It can be a pretty big amount of time. And then they found this mine, and it's starting to be successful. And both claim to have discovered it. And then they hear about this war brewing. And then they really claim it because whoever discovered it gets to decide where the gold goes, right, when this war inevitably comes. So then Meryl Streep comes in to try and sway it towards the south. Lupita Nyong'o comes into play on the north side. Tom Wilkinson is there as just a generally fun character that both sides will stop in on in the inn for a drink and such. And so I'm thinking for the ending, we pull the classic story of the two women claim it's a baby, it's their baby. The story?
Sort of.
Okay, it's the story that two women claim that this baby is theirs. And so the person that resolves it says, fine, we'll split the baby in half and you can each take half. And the woman that says no, have the baby is, of course, the actual mother because she's the one that cared about the child to not have that happen. So it's kind of like that. So I'm picturing the climax is the mine is going to get blown up. It's going to be destroyed. And how it's revealed who actually discovered it is the one that goes in to try to save it because it was theirs. The other didn't. The other walks away. So the one that was lying this whole time, whoever it would be, he makes it out. So it's not a really happy ending. But the one that genuinely...
And what if it was the main character? Boom.
Yeah.
Right there. Right there. Now, if we're aiming to win Best Picture, we have to make sure. Now, the Academy, they're very self-conscious. They realize that the rest of the world looks at them as like, if this was chosen for Best Picture, then this is like American film that year. If they don't want a film that sympathizes with they don't want to pick a film that sympathizes with the Confederacy, no matter how well made it is. That's just like human behavior. So how are we going to make sure that they choose as Best Picture? Aside from being a very well made film and all that,
Well, we still need to choose a writer and director.
Yeah.
Well, but in the story-wise, how are we going to make sure that, you can't twist this as, the Academy is now sympathizing and agreeing with the Confederacy as if they were the noble heroes? Because even though they won't, that's what they think people will think of them.
Maybe Daniel Day-Lewis was the one that found it. Maybe he was being honest the whole time. Oh, wait, no, it says the opposite of what you want.
Or what if this is not a statement of sympathy, this is a statement of madness? What if he okay, this is kind of dramatically out of there, but what if he kills somebody and is somebody knows the truth and then he's just he kills them? Or that's kind of a bad example, but something like that.
No, I like that. He kind of goes nuts. And so he runs into
very
the
subtly,
mine.
not actually crazy, not
Right. He runs into the mine to try to save his gold. Blows up, he's killed. And then at the end it's revealed. Jim Carrey says, I found it. I actually did. He still ran in. He still believed so firmly it was his. He still felt so entitled to it. But honest to God, I did find it.
Yeah.
That would be an interesting ending.
Wow. Mm-hmm. I was gonna say what if Daniel Day-Lewis killed one of these characters? But I think that goes a lot better.
Also, I think Tom Wilkinson's character will be killed right at the beginning of the third act. No, right before the climax.
Because the bartender always dies.
Exactly, he's
always
killed
dies.
in the crossfire of this conflict.
Funny story. My high school AP English teacher for Halloween dressed up as the bartender who got shot in the movies.
Nice,
in any movie.
But
that's how it
always is. Okay, so beginning of the third act, right? You think Daniel Day-Lewis should go crazy? Is that the idea here, that he does kind of reach his breaking point?
Yeah, but not like he's a nutcase. Just he believes so firmly in it that he's willing to do anything.
So what if one night he gets drunk, and he sort of reveals, So he talks a little bit about the whole conflict, and Tom Wilkinson hears about it, and he hears too much. Mm-hmm. And then Daniel Day-Lewis is like, "Yep, boop, busting the cap."
Or like he reveals it to them, like then he kind of like stumbles out, and then days later, like Wilkinson, like sort of, what is it? He implies that he knows like the actual truth because like it's no big deal. Like he thinks that everything's cool, and then Daniel Day-Lewis is like, "What?" Then he's like, and then slowly we have the reveal of boom, big twist. Like everybody's like, "Holy what?" There you go.
Okay.
So he believes so. So that's a way we can get on the Academy can get on the north side. Is that the southerner? Is that the southerner of the movie is like kind of is crazy. He believes so firmly in his
And it was actually, and we're sticking with it. Was Jim Carrey that discovered it?
Yeah. Like
he actually did. Yeah, he actually did.
I like it. All right,
okay.
So I think we have a movie.
Get a director. Yeah, we're done. Mm-hmm. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. Now
and Julianne Moore is. Can she still be the Lady Macbeth character?
Yeah.
Wait,
totally.
No. Wait, but that was Jim. Crap.
No, Julianne Moore pushes Jim Carrey to go for it, and he does, and he ends up going for it.
No, I meant to be for Daniel Day-Lewis. I keep getting these characters confused. Does Daniel Day-Lewis have a wife in this? I don't think he does.
No.
No.
Wife died.
Okay.
Wife died.
That's right.
Somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever.
Or left him, or we can make it ambiguous.
Yeah.
So the writer and director. Okay. Well, I mean the director, and then a writer if we have one.
Who has directed a western?
Well, I don't know.
Or who has directed like a biopic about characters that are like that are very in depth, perhaps caricatures at first and not. John Lee. What is his name? John Lee Hancock or John Hancock Smith or what is his name?
What movie did he do?
Saving Mr. Banks.
No.
John Lee Hancock, I believe is his name.
Those flashback scenes are a little cringeworthy. I don't know if I want him.
I'm not talking about
he's not Oscar caliber right now, at least in my mind. I don't know. I'm going to veto. However, if you want someone that has two Oscar-nominated movies, back to back, by the way, both historical, one historical drama, one just in a historical time period, we could get Tom Hooper, who did the King's Speech.
I was just thinking him. I was literally just thinking him.
Now, obviously, this isn't a musical.
But we don't want too many Dutch angles. All right?
We just tell him to tone it down.
That many.
But hey, the Academy
it's the cinematographer who does... All right.
Well,
there's also, when it comes to, like...
There's a thing of him, so...
When it is an ambiguous conflict, and when we are talking about, like, a director that is beloved by the Academy, and it is, like, about, like, people, being bad and, like, kind of the ambiguity of heroes and villains and stuff, you can't go wrong with Scorsese. You can't.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, but, like, the thing about this is that, like, I feel Scorsese is a lot better if he's handling with something that's really, like, it's in your face, really big. Like, something that's, I don't know whether it's, like, overly violent or whether it's overly just, like Wolf of Wall Street was just crazy. That movie has so many crazy scenes left and right. I mean, he has directed some smaller things, but I feel those projects aren't as strong. I kind of feel a lot stronger going with Tom Hooper.
Well, I mean, Scorsese did do, like, Goodfellas.
Didn't he do The Aviator? Is that right? Didn't he do The Aviator?
Yeah,
yes.
He did.
Historical drama,
So, I mean, he's done history stuff. Casino. I think.
Yeah.
Is that historical? I don't know. I haven't seen it. But you know what I mean? Like, this is someone who's done other time periods. He's done anti-heroes. He's done just flat. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, he's all about anti-heroes and ambiguity and like people being bad.
I don't like Raging Bull because I find every character in it utterly despicable. So he can handle it.
Yeah,
he can handle our not. I mean, we're not even close to the level of Raging Bull despicableness.
Right.
So I say we give it to Scorsese. The more I think about it, I think we should give it to Scorsese.
Yeah.
And is he going to co-write?
I don't know. Who
no, he's a director. He's firmly a director. Who's going to have to write this? Let's see. Like, when I look at options, we could go with, like, what is his name? John Ridley? Is that his name?
What did he write?
That's 12 Years a Slave. I think that was his name. Let's see. There's also... But, I mean, does it... I mean, he's good at historical dramas. I mean, he won that Oscar, I guess.
Okay,
so.
hey, okay. Idea. Crazy idea. What about... I know but his film was nominated. What about Damien Chazelle?
I did think about that for a second. I was
his movie... he's the director of writer of Whiplash. His whole movie is based around a psychological conflict.
At the same time, though, he does a very good job of like establishing a hero and a villain. And this is not about that. This is very ambiguous. It's about, this whole
true.
film thematically is about, like, the North, like, on a bigger scale, it's partially about the North and South being, like, characterized, in American history as, like, good guys and bad guys, when in reality, it was always kind of a bit muggy. Always.
That's true.
Damien's just, and I freaking love Whiplash. Sean, you should go watch Whiplash. Audience, hypothetical audience, go watch Whiplash.
Man,
but maybe not, maybe it's not for him.
I guess that is
so
a good
written by...
Part of me wants to say Vince Gilligan. A small part of me, because Breaking Bad is one of the most ambiguous hero-villain shows I've ever seen, but I don't think he would work with the Academy.
Ambiguous at all. I think, especially season 5 is just confirming how much better of a person Jesse is than Walt. Let's see.
What if it was directed by somebody, it was written. Sorry, written by. I'm going through all the writers in my head. Let's see. It can't be. Are
there any famous writers who who've gotten quite a few Academy Awards?
Well, we could get Alan Sorkin, but I don't know if he really.
Yeah,
goes
Aaron
for
Sorkin.
this
Yeah,
type
I
of
love
project.
Aaron Sorkin, but yeah, he's really more focused on quick, snappy dialogue. That's much more
that's
modern.
True.
He's
That's
way too modern for this. Yeah.
Yeah. Ugh, it's a tough one.
Okay, Larry? I know that Sean, you're not a huge into this, but Larry, who do you think would compose it?
Composer.
Yeah. I always kept revolving around Thomas Newman, but that's just me.
Part of me wants to give it to if we're talking, so this movie seems, the pacing just comes to me as a lot slower,
Yeah,
because it is a drama,
slow.
and somebody who I feel is just very good at sort of slower themes and also maybe triumphant themes is Howard Shore.
Oh yeah.
This sort of long, outstretched.
What's he known for? What is Howard Shore known for?
Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit. Okay, that's
okay.
That's it.
I guess that works. Yeah.
And plus, he also did Gangs of New York, which is and Silence of the Lambs, which are.
Oh, yeah, let's get him.
But another part of me is there has to be cool Western songs, Magnificent Seven. So, part of me wants to give it to somebody who I really like the melodies that he comes up with, like Silvestri, Alan Silvestri. Avengers.
Yeah, Silvestri he's really good at that, but he's not
I don't know.
He's more triumphant. He's more he's more good into fantasy stuff because
Right.
that's just
Oh,
and
also,
same with Michael Giacchino.
Yeah, that's
Giacchino.
also true. But he's very good at melodies, I think, and using that melody for later. Just sort of. But let's just all agree, Hoyt von Hoytem, a cinematographer.
Well, yeah, but I don't know if this is his thing.
I don't care if it's his thing or not. Challenge him. Challenge him to do something. If you he's done different movies before. He went from futuristic, what was it, San Francisco to Mount Everest, I think. Right? That's his next movie. So he could do a challenge.
Written by I want to say I'm gonna stick with John Ridley on this one. I think he's gonna stick with John Ridley.
Has he ever gotten any awards buzz? I'm curious.
John Ridley?
Yeah.
He won Best Adapted Screenplay for 12 Years a Slave.
Well, I meant besides for that. Is that it?
No, I don't believe so. But
I don't know. I wouldn't be opposed. Maybe should we have 2 writers or just one?
I'm fine, honestly, with either writer.
How about okay, so it was just John Ridley that did the screenplay for 12 years. So I guess we could just go with him. I think he's up for the job.
He's, I guess, from what he won. I guess that means he's at least kind of good.
Yeah.
Let's see. And what would we call it? I have an idea for it already. I have an idea.
There are a lot more opportunities for names with this one as opposed to the last one.
You guys know what fake gold is called? It looks like gold. This is huge back in the gold rush. People kept finding this mineral. It's called pyrite or pirate. Pyrite.
Yeah, I know.
And
I've heard of it.
It comes from. It's also in tandem with the phrase "all that glitters is not gold." So I was thinking it was something pyrite or pirate.
I was literally thinking all that glitters.
I was thinking the same thing too, but I think that's already been taken and it sounds really cheesy. Something that it sounds good, but also on a deeper level, it's
Why not pyrite?
I get what you're saying. Pyrite. Just that. I was thinking that too. Yeah.
That seems so I don't know. Does that concept even come up in the movie?
Buried in pyrite?
I don't know.
Pyrite below pyrite. Okay, honestly, think of it this way. My Terrence. I'm going to channel some Terrence. Terrence. Wait, what's his name? Terrence. Who was really emotional? Why am I blanking on his name?
Oh, Terrence Howard.
Yeah, Terrence Howard. This next film, just Wow.
It's amazing.
Pirate. But yeah, we don't even know. Is that really how it's pronounced?
I don't know.
I always thought it was pirate. That was just me, but I think it is pyrite. I always thought it was. Shut up. I always thought it was
something about gold, though. I feel it's a movie about the gold rush.
Burying gold. That's what this whole thing is, right? A man who's like behind
the veil, like golden veil.
Not this again.
I'm sorry, it's so easy.
It's like behind the music. No.
Okay, that's true. Something about gold striking it rich, but yet there's lies.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Go for it.
Halcyon?
Halcyon?
Halcyon. It was.
What's that?
Basically, it can mean rich, wealthy, prosperous, happy, joyful, carefree, calm, peaceful, tranquil. So it's like this ironic name. It's the name of.
Alright, I can get behind that. Halcyon.
Part of me just wants to find.
If you can have Chris Hemsworth mispronounce Smaug as Smogue, I think you can have a movie that may not be like roll off the tongue of everybody right then and there.
Ooh, what if it's combined? Pyrite Halcyon.
Pyceon.
So weird.
What's wrong with
Pyceon? Sounds like the name of like a ship in a sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Leonard Nimoy.
Oh yeah, seriously. Rest in peace. LLAP.
I do like Halcyon.
Part of me just wants to take the names of the characters.
Yeah.
It's like
I don't know,
Lewis and Carrie.
Guys, I'm just gonna throw this out here. At the hour 17-minute mark, I think we got a good name.
Halcyon? How do you spell that?
Hold on. Where is it? Halcyon.
Cyon. The Y could add for an interesting logo design.
Halcyon.
And the Y goes down into the earth like the mine. Ooh.
Halcyon Rush. I don't know.
Hey, that's not bad.
Halcyon Rush.
Halcyon Rush.
Let's do it. Halcyon Rush.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen.
Rush. Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, produced
contributed.
by... Hold on. Excuse me. Ladies and gentlemen, produced by Larry Freed, Max Mariner, and Sean Capdeville. Directed by Martin Scorsese. Written by John Ridley. Starring Daniel Day-Lewis, Jim Carrey, Julianne Moore, Lupita Nyong'o, and featuring Tom Wilkinson and Meryl Streep. Halcyon Rush. Coming to a theater near you. What do you think?
You emphasize that weird. I'll pronounce it Halcyon Rush.
It will come out. I'll tell you right now. It will come out in September of the year. No, September. September. I think I see September. I don't know why. I'm sticking with September.
There you go.
Meet you in the middle.
But yeah, October. I'm good with October.
All right.
All right.
And it will feature a marketing campaign by.
Original score composed by Howard Shore and cinematography by Hoyt van Hoytema. Does anyone else want to kind of add in a name?
Didn't we choose Hoyt van Hoytema last time?
Can we do that? He is the cinematographer for every project.
Fine, because he is really that good.
He's that good.
I think that's good. I think that's good. And we will get snubbed in the category of best
we're totally
supporting
best
actress.
Costume design.
Oh yeah, and best production design too.
Probably.
Yeah.
Oh wait. Oh,
they really made the Gold Rush feel like gritty or something.
Wait, who are we gonna? Oh wait, hold on. Okay, a few other things. Who's the I want to give a makeup job to someone.
No,
I don't know makeup.
Guys, stop. We're done. Please.
Done. All right. There's so much more we could work with.
It's an hour and 20 minutes.
So it's just fun.
Yeah, I don't.
This is what happens, ladies and gentlemen. This is what happens when Larry knows he's not going to be editing this episode.
Yeah. Seriously.
Oh please.
Wait, the last episode was almost 90 minutes. This is not going to become a thing. I'm already pushing for us to not be near the hour mark. We're now 20 minutes over. This was
again, guys. Again, audience. If you even exist, let us know if you like it long or short.
To be fair, Sean, you just to work off a comment you said before. I was talking to some of my friends, and I said, "You guys are listening to my podcast, right?" And they're like, "Eh." It's like, "Is it a length thing?" And they're like, "Kinda." So this sort of goes along with you.
Well, good thing you told us that at the end of this podcast.
Oh, well.
Anyway, this was fun. Guys. I don't want to add a negative note. This movie sounds cool.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I would totally watch this movie.
Yeah.
I would buy all the tickets.
Get it picked up as a TV movie by History or something. They'd do it.
Yeah.
Marshall, okay, real quick. Marshall, the actual guy, makes a cameo and is played by J.K. Simmons.
Yes.
That was good. I'm glad that was added to this conversation and took up time. I'm glad. I'm seriously glad.
It took up 15 seconds, yes.
I am actually glad. All right, so guys, Halcyon Rush, tell us what you think about this idea. What other ideas do you think should be incorporated? We will bring up the idea shortly in the next episode towards the beginning. But until then, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully, we will be doing a ton more SML Studios episodes in the future, and leave some ideas down below also. What is a theme we should try to tack on? Let us know. For now, my name is Larry.
My name is Sean.
And my name is Max.
And guys, we're heading out west. Here we go. Let's get on your horses and just go.
Hey, I am west. I'm Montana, folks.
Oh. Okay, well, I gotta get
California.
On my horse.
Yeah.
What?
All right.
Max
Hold
wins
on.
in the west category.
Hold on. Let me do some clopping over to you guys. Go to the west. Here we go.
Do you have any coconuts?
Unfortunately, I do not.
Well, then you can't really go anywhere. You must have your coconuts.
Can't do any sort of clopping. Any sort of.
I'm just gonna keep doing this.
Close enough.
Let's just end it. I will shoot that horse. I will break its leg, and you will have to shoot it.
No, don't.
Shoot the woodland horse,
Old
Sean.
Bessie.
Shoot the woodland horse.